guys, Dylan Schumacher,
Daniel Richardson.
Citadel Defense.
Today we're here to talk to you about training for your real life. Now when we go to the range and we teach classes, sometimes we see people come in open carry holsters or clothes they don't normally wear. And I think that's dangerous because when we train for real life defensive situations. And if you want it to be applicable, you need to be using the gear and wearing the clothes that you do in real life. For example, if I only go out to the range and shoot in a sweatshirt, but in normal life I wear a jacket when I'm out and about, then I'm not going to be familiar with drawing my handgun in my practical real life situation. So this is really important. We're in Minnesota, so you need to know how to get your gun out from underneath your coat, because not wearing a coat's not really an option. And for me, I just never button my coat. I never zip it up. And I just deal with being a little cold, because that is the fastest straw for me. So things like this. If you only conceal, don't go to the range and practice in an open carry holster. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do, and I'm not saying that that skill's not valuable, but I would compare that more to plinking than I would to self-defense training, because it's not practical.
Well, let me ask you, what would you say to if someone's just getting into shooting, right? They conceal, they got their permit 3 months ago.
Yeah.
They bought a gun, they've been concealing, and this is their first real shooting class. Mm-hmm. And they show up in an outside the waistband rig.
I don't have a problem with that. I think when you get started shooting, as with pretty much anything in life, you don't know what you want and you don't know what you're going to do, and it takes practice and time and adjustment to figure out what really works best for you.
Sure.
So, we put out a video on open carry, and for me it's not simply a political statement, it's wanting to make guns more normalized in society. But I'm one of the few people who actually do that. I've seen a handful of people in my entire life open carry, and it's just not something most people do. But if you have thought that through and you're willing to make that decision, then practice in an open carry holster. Maybe you decide you don't like it, or maybe your spouse doesn't like it, or it makes your family uncomfortable. Then maybe you need to make an adjustment. So it takes time to get acquainted with.
And at some point, guys, when the gun comes out, shooting is shooting, right? So once the gun's in your hand, that's shooting. So really what Daniel's talking about here is not building a training scar because you show up in an outside the waistband rig with like 6 mags on your belt and you're a competition shooter ready to go. But then when you walk around with no spare mag and just your gun carried appendix, So as much as is applicable, or as much as is possible, I should say, carry to the class how you would go in real life, right? Most of the time I carry appendix. So most of my classes I go to, I'm shooting from appendix, right? If I'm taking a rifle class, it's different because I'm going to carry outside the waistband if I have time to get my rifle, I have time to carry outside the waistband. So that's the point. Don't develop a needless training scar.
And what we really don't want to happen is, let's say a threat presents itself in front of you, and you need to get your gun, and you train for speed and everything, but now all of a sudden you have this moment of panic, like, oh, I don't know how to get in my coat, and now you're fumbling, or you're like, oh, I'm used to reaching down here for my outside the waistband holster, but I have to go here for appendix, or I'm in the 4 o'clock. We don't want that happening to you. So train for real life.
And the last thing we'll say on that is dry practice, dry practice, dry practice. If you get a new coat, or if you do switch up carry styles, come home, put your gun on, or hopefully you got to carry it all day, and then just dry practice. Unload your gun and just practice drawing that gun. And do that.
Throw your winter coat
10,
on,
20
practice
times,
in front of the
30.
mirror, do all that stuff. And, we go practice out when it's really cold and wear our winter clothes and stuff. So if you can do that, do that.
Yep. Great.
Anything else, Dylan?
I'm good.
Do brave deeds and endure. Thanks, guys.